How's it going, Overwatchers? Welcome back to Broadcast.gg. This is the Australian Open Division Season 3 2018 Playoffs Day 1 coverage. And I'm Rapture here with BeatDownBlvd and Plausible, bringing you the first of 4 sets here tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. Beatdown, Plausible, how you guys doing tonight?
Doing fantastic. Ready to see this new region of Overwatch that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same way. A lot of, I want to say, undiscovered talent that I hope we can kind of just bring to the forefront.
Yeah, exactly. This is the first time at Broadcast.gg we've covered the Australian region. We've gone to, obviously, North America, Europe, Korea, China. Now we're in Australia, South America. We've pretty much, I think, hit the entire globe almost everywhere. So, yeah, looking forward to catch from Australia. We're bringing everyone, the entire top 16 bracket, all through playoffs. 4 matches here tonight, 3 winners bracket matches, and 1 losers bracket match. And the first match we're going to have here tonight is Cascade versus STK, and we have a little bit to talk about with them. So, Beatdown, I know you wanted to chat a little bit about Cascade, so why don't you tell us about them?
Yeah, well, first of all, their team finished 8-2 in the regular season. They're looking pretty good going into the playoffs. They seem to be a very flexible roster. You know, a lot of them can play all sorts of different heroes, so I'm hoping to see a lot of flexibility out of them. You know, switching comps on the fly, just being very adaptive. That's what I'm hoping to see out of them.
And what do you think about it, Plausible, going into this match? I'm sorry, at least for STK, their opponents, who they're going to be taking on Cascade. A couple words on them.
Well, STK is a bit of an interesting story. Here we have a team, they went 7-3, which is pretty good for the Australian region. Obviously, it's pretty good. They made it to playoffs, right? But I'm a little worried because they do have 2 new additions to the team within the last week. Now, one of those additions, Cascade, who will be playing main support, was previously on an Australian contenders team, Team Dignity, right? So, strong player. I'm hoping he meshes well with the team because that's going to impact how this match goes a lot.
Absolutely. And of course, there is a lot on the line for these playoffs matches. The top 4 teams in the bracket will be moving on to contenders trials. So not only getting a little bit of a cash prize, I believe, but also getting through and getting a seed there. So a lot for these teams, especially for someone like, for a team like Cascade. It seems like they're definitely coming into this to play a serious game. For the two of you, I'll beat down and then Plausible real quick. Any expectations going into the set?
Like I said before, and it's pretty much like you said, Cascade, they seem really earnest about this. They want it. They're hungry. And, I hope that they can show up tonight and for the rest of the Open Division. Finals, I should say. Playoffs, rather.
I think if Cascade are gonna be want to pull this win out, they're gonna have to be ready for some interesting strategies from STK. A lot of these players originally are DPS or flex players. They swap their roles around all the time, right? So they're gonna have a lot of different strategies coming out of the gate. So it's gonna be a funky matchup, and I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a doozy. It is going to be a best of 5. We're going to throw it right into our first map of the set. So it's time for some Australian Open Division Overwatch. Let's get right into it. Beatdown and Plausible, how about you two take it away?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for the wonderful hosting there, Rapture. But we're going to get right into the match, ladies and gentlemen. First map is going to be Lijiang Tower. Tell us what are you expecting here, Beatdown? What are you looking for?
I'll tell you what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for some fire play. One of my favorite heroes to watch play. Very strong on, most control maps. Definitely, especially here with the boot potential. Get those sweet, sweet environmental kills. And I'm expecting a lot of probably a lot of dive, just from what I've seen, what we have seen that both teams can play.
Makes a lot of sense to me. Dive is certainly what we see a lot on the garden stage. We're going to see which stage we're going to in just a moment here, hopefully. But, it does look like it will be gardens. So that dive that you talked about, probably going to be coming out. Who do you think has the edge when it comes to dive here? It's a little hard for us to theorize, but who do you think is going to come out on top on this stage?
Well, so far, Cascade's actually the only one running the dive, but we got Mirror Sombra matchups on both sides here. So it's going to be, I think this is really going to be dictated by who can get the key hacks here. It's between Zetzel and Cascade. Whoever can get the first key hack off will probably win this first fight.
Well, first fight's going to be happening right here. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to see it. My game is kind of exploding here. Could you give 1 second? Sorry about that. What are we seeing, Beatdown?
Alright, well, we're seeing them just moving to the point right now. STX is just making their way on here. Tank heavy composition. They're just getting right into the face of Cascade here. Just falling out on the point. Abilities are being used. A point just opened up right now, and Sombra's looking for the hack here. That actually gets one up on the Reinhardt, so that's actually going to be pretty big. No shield for the side of STK here. And there doesn't look like there's much follow-up, though. And we're already actually going to see the Coalescence come out here. And the first kill is coming out for STK. Oh, and the kills are just rolling in for them. So it looks like this is going to be it for them, and that's going to be the first point capture.
STK, the Moira charge is certainly going to be crucial here, especially when they're running those tanky compositions. Looks like Cascade themselves, they're going to be switching over to a tanky composition, try and contest that a bit. They want to show them that they're not the only one who can get into this brawl, get down and dirty here with Filthy Elf on the Reinhardt, you know. And here they come.
It's interesting. Both teams giving up on the Sombra, despite it working, you know, marginally well in the beginning. But we're just gonna have to see how it goes now. Both teams are heavier. Both teams have a lot of healing, and we're gonna see how it goes.
Certainly will indeed. Unfortunately, my game is still exploding, but the kills come in for STK. What a quick, decisive team wipe for them. Barely any time to build ult charge for Cascade here.
Huge Earth Shatter out from Presenter. A lot of props got to go to him. It got pretty much everybody on the team with Cascade. There was really nothing else they could have done here. All that was left was Zapso to rally themselves up, and now they're armored up into the next fight. Still ahead in the ult economy as well. You know, Cascade's really going to have to do some catching up here. All they have is the Diva Bomb, and if they're going to catch this point, it's got to go big.
It's actually the Grav that's going to be going big here. Grabs so many members of Cascade, and a decisive follow-through from STK. Just going to win on that point. What great ultimate management coming out here from that team.
I'm blown away right now. 2 fights they've won with just 1 ultimate. Mats is actually halfway to another one himself. Just playing absolutely so well right now. STK in general is just doing amazingly. It looks like they're going for some aggressive play right now.
Well, they know that they can afford to. They have the ults to back it up. Earth Shadow comes out, not quite able to find too many, but it finds more than enough. Both supports down for Cascade. They're getting rolled through here. They just barely got their first Graviton, and they're not even going to get to use it. They're just getting absolutely demolished by such coordination coming out here from STK. The really 99% on the point, and it doesn't look like they're going to let him get back. A grab comes out by the spawn, by the choke point, and Cascade can't even make it back. First round. Quick as it can be.
Cheeky grab just to end that first round. Really amazing play from STK so far. You know, they're really just out-aggressing Cascade on this tank-heavy composition. When you're playing this, you need to be the first one to make the enemy's Rhine uncomfortable, and it seems like Cascade was just uncomfortable the entire time, completely on the back foot. As you said before, didn't even have a chance to really use any of the ultimates they had, and they had so much opportunity to, you know, flip the point into their favor, but instead they couldn't do it. 100-0, but now we're here on Lijiang City Center, I believe it is.
5. It'll be the night market.
Thank you.
There we go.
Similar comps from both sides, but we're gonna see Zapso play the Reaper. Probably just mixing it up this time around. Wants to get a lot of damage in, maybe just quickly shred the tanks. Probably predicting that Cascade is gonna go with the same tank heavy comp.
Probably, and it's STK, they're gonna charge right in. They don't fear anything here. A boop from Cassette, grabs 2. What a play there. What decisive aggression. And he gets another one. Another boop. 4-second cooldown on that ability makes it so good to just knock them right off that huge edge. And STK are gonna cap the point first.
Unbelievable, and here I thought in the first round we were going to see the boost. You couldn't ask for anything more out of these environmental skills. Good on Cassette, so much farther ahead with the sound barrier, and this just sets Cascade back so far. Now they're so far behind on ult, they need to get back on this point, but it's so hard to have to push into a defending Reaper, because he doesn't have to worry, they have the point.
Really doesn't have to worry when he's got that Moira. Lays down so much healing, especially when the Coalescence comes out. This is when STK are going to get aggressive. They find Demigod first and foremost, but they lose Mats in the process. That could be huge as Zetzel is almost up to that grab that STK desperately want. There's the hammer. Counter shatter though, coming out from Presenter, and his team are going to be the only ones with follow-up. STK having absolute dominance here on Night Market as well.
It's crazy. And Filthy Elf, oh man, I really questioning that Earth Shatter. That's definitely a lost fight, and now it is one less ult Cascade has going into the next one. Still, they have a good chance here. Zetzel has the Graviton Surge. It needs to not get eaten. So keep an eye out on that one.
Yeah, hopefully, if you're an STK fan, Ben will be right on that. But looks like Cascade, they're pushing around this tiny corridor here. A bio comes down, helping Cascade find Presenter. This could be their opportunity as the grab makes it so they take out Zappo. They now have a man advantage coming into this fight, and it's only going to get greater. That is 3 down for STK. Cascade looking like they're finally going to be able to start getting some traction as soon as they clean up a couple of stragglers here on the point.
Excellent, discipline up from Zetzel here. Held the grab, didn't get too excited or anything. He knew they were in one left eye territory, but he still held it for just the right moment. It gave them the opening they needed. Sure, Cascade used the self-destruct as well, but that's all right. Winning a fight with 2 ults is perfectly respectable, and they're still ahead in this ult economy here. Look out for the Earth Shatter from Filthy Elf especially.
There's the Shatter from Filthy Elf. It gets so many players, and they immediately use it to take down Presenter. This is a hard advantage coming in here for Cascade as they push STK off the edge. They just go for the reset immediately.
Oh, what a good play. We're actually going to see the replay here. Fat Shatter from Filthy Elf. Just like I said, it needed to go big. And unfortunately, Cascade used maybe a few too many ults here. A bit of little dangerous territory. However, Zetzel's pretty close to another Graviton Surge. So that one's going to have to go really big. And we're looking at Presenter Shatter. It needs to get blocked for Cascade.
It looks like it mostly did, in fact, get blocked. Good block coming out from Filthy Elf, but let's see what the self-destruct pulls up. Not that much, surprisingly enough, but Filthy Elf and Nahami are down now. It is a 4v5 here, and STK are going to flip this mid-fight. They're only 20% from capping this and winning this map, but Cascade, they're not giving up. They try and fire a couple back, but they're still at a disadvantage, and they don't have any ults to get in here right now.
Cascade is staggering themselves so hard right now. This isn't the last final fight you want to take. They could have had time to get back in the 6, but it looks like it doesn't even matter anymore. Graviton's going to come out
No,
now.
there's the 99%. Cascade getting cleaned up. Desperate sound barrier coming out. The Lucio from Cascade trying to stay alive for his team to regroup. The emergency Doomfist from Demigod not going to find anything. STK clean up. Nobody's going to get there. Overtime ticks away. STK take Lijiang Tower.
Oh, the worst part is Cascade, they really didn't need to take such a hasty fight there at the end. I know you're a little stressed. You're worried about that last bit of capture percentage, but it was at 80%. You had time. You could have taken a 6v6, and this is Overwatch. That's exactly the kind of fight you want to take.
Definitely want to take those boops when you get the chance for him. Sick Lucio play coming out from Kazette. We talked about him being a previous Contenders player. You can see that skill level in his Lucio play alone.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely a Contenders level support player. Hopefully, probably a bit of a deciding factor there for STK. He played very well, got the key sound barriers off, and overall it was great.
Oh, undoubtedly. Alt economy certainly seemed better for the side of STK. They're not using 4 or 5 ultimates like Cascade were.
And not even that. Not even that. A big thing was that STK used their ults abnormally well, but quickly just going to throw it back to our host here. So, Rapture, what do you got for us?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Just want to write back real quick before we get into our second map. Yeah, it was I'd say a pretty decisive victory there for STK. I believe as you beat down, mentioning just the staggering towards the end of the fight. Do you think it was STK kind of just punishing that weakness that Cascade was showing them that led to that eventual victory?
A little, actually, yeah, a lot of it was part of that, but I don't think that was the sole reason. It was basically that punish just didn't need to happen. As soon as you realize you lost a lot of your tank presence, which is a lot of the space that you need to take up, you should just retreat, and they weren't doing that. So yeah, in that way, STK definitely punished them, and rightly so.
Mm-hmm. And plausible. Oh yeah, keep going.
Well, I was gonna say, I think what happened there was the clock was ticking up to 99, so Cascade had a little bit of indecision there. Do we stay? Do we leave? Do we stay? Do we leave? They weren't sure if they had the time to fully regroup and come back in or not. And ultimately, they didn't get to regroup at all and just got rolled through.
Mm-hmm. So I'll throw it back to you, Plausible, real quick, and then to Beatdown. From what we saw based on Control, now going into, I believe, Rialto is our second map here. What does Cascade need to change up to keep pace with STK and not fall behind 2-0?
Well,
I think
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say I think Rialto is an interesting pick coming out here from Cascade. You just got outclassed, honestly, in the 3-3 tanky composition setups that Rialto loves to favor. I would have taken it to Gibraltar, a lot of dive. You can see if you can outmatch them there. But I think if they're gonna try and, well, obviously they're gonna try and win this Rialto map, but if they're gonna be able to do it, they need to bring out a counter. They can't just run that 3-3 into STK anymore. They need to bring out something like a Pharah, which is good on Rialto, maybe a Doomfist or something.
Yeah, I definitely agree. They have the hero pool for it, so, you know, that's something I want to see from them. And not only that, I think a big problem they had is that STK was just completely outpacing them as well. Like, you could tell that STK just knew exactly what they wanted to do, when they wanted to do it, and Cascade just seemed kind of lost. So, you know, just be more decisive, don't be afraid, and just W mouse 1.
Absolutely, yeah. We got to see some big changes here from Cascade as we move into our second map for Rialto, because I will be getting into that for just a moment. So I'll throw it back to you two. You can have a little get ready for this map. I'll take a sideline position here, and I'll see you guys at the end of the map.
Well, it was good to have you between maps. Always nice to get that little chat in. And very, very insightful questions as always, Rapture. But we're going to go back in. Rialto starting up here. It looks like we're going to have... it's still loading for me. I was going to call out who's on offense first, but it's still loading because I'm dumb. STK is going to be on offense first. What do you want to see from their attack run here?
I don't want to see a tank-heavy composition. I know that for sure. You know, like you were mentioning before, they are a lot of DPS mains. I'm expecting at least 2 DPS in this comp. You know, a lot of sight lines here, some Widow, some Pharah, Hanzo. You know, there's a lot that they can do based on what we know of them. And honestly, you can say the same about Cascade as well.
Yeah, undoubtedly. Matt's hovering over that Bastion right now. I doubt he's going to run it. Although we have seen crazier things in World Cup on this map. Certainly a map for odd compositions and odd strategies.
Definitely the case, but, you know, as casters, you know, we just generally don't worry about the attacking team this early on. They're definitely messing with us because they know we're here. I see you.
Speaking of messing with us, do you think this Symmetra is just messing? Yeah, alright, Demigod's going back to change. It's going to be the Pharah, exactly what we wanted to see here from Cascade. They recognized what they needed to do, and they're going to employ it. Hopefully it'll be enough here.
It very well could be. You know, the Widow Pharah is good. Demigod can get a little more aggressive. Zetzel can stay in the back line, take the shots that he needs to. As long as he can land them, this can work out very well. But still, not the most amount of frontline presence for Filthy Elf on the Orisa, so he definitely needs to be a lot more mindful of that. But with the double support comp, it should be fun.
He's going to have to be careful about where he chooses to contest STK. Those corners are pretty good for Orisa, as long as you're not running up against a Reinhardt. But actually, we are going to see a Bastion, not from Mats, but from Zapso. Interesting choice here, but it's going to shred right through those Orisa shields. But not going to have much healing as your Moira gets booped off the edge. Beautiful concussive rocket coming out there from Lex as Max gets found by the Ana. This is already a lost fight for STK. They're kind of just going to back up here as they've lost half their team.
Unfortunately, STK could not actually set themselves up on the payload, and that is such a critical part of running the Bastion strategy. Yeah, it was pretty much a one and done for them. They saw it didn't work, so they're going to switch it up now. Now they have the Soldier. Still keeping the Sombra. As long as Mats can get the key hacks, comp can actually work out very well, but that's still on the other side. It should...
Oh, this could be...
Yeah.
That was an interesting attack positioning coming out from them. They're going to charge around the side. Demigod already with the barrage. Takes out 2. Loses one of the back line, but STK, they're not going to have enough firepower to push through here. What beautiful positioning from Demigod.
Insane. He actually managed to finish the voice line. It's not something you see a lot there with the fire rocket barrage. But yeah, got so many kills off of it. It's part of what happens because of all the wholesale swaps we saw from STK. They were so behind in the ult economy, and you know, somewhat they still are. Wheel has the Falc. Kairu is still really pretty close to getting the nano boost as well. So this is probably going to be like this for a little longer.
About 30% of his counterpart on STK, Lex. It's a crucial ultimate, that nano boost, especially when you have a soldier on your team. It's a combo that a lot of teams like to run, but we're going to see what STK wants to run here. As they get in here, the bio comes down onto the entire team of STK, and the self-destruct splits them up. They're looking like they're scrambling to make a dent here, but the first dent is made. Filthy Elf, the main tank for Cascade, now down. That is a lot of space. They are not going to have a boostio on the side of STK. Maybe a bit of a misclick here, but Cascade, they don't have enough staying power to contest it, especially as the tactical visor comes out here from Zapso, buying a lot of space, and he takes out Demigod mid-ult. Barrage goes down, and Cascade cap point A.
So we're going to see a replay of that. Good play there from Zapso on the Soldier 76. Getting that tactical visor off is so key. Even though the nano boost didn't go on him, honestly, it still worked out very well for them. In that last fight, it was really great. They got rid of the main tank from Cascade, sorry. They got rid of Filthy Elf, despite not using any ultimate. So now they have completely flipped the ultimate game on its head. They now have 3, only 1 for the side of Cascade, so this next fight is going to be a little hairy for Cascade.
Cascade's not even going to be able to contest this fight until they're already almost under this archway. Wheel got staggered, which is such a crucial player. That Mercy provides so much healing, and the res is so good, especially when you're running a Pharah. Here comes the Nano onto the Monkey. Filthy Elf going crazy, but not going to be able to make a dent. That drops his sound barrier. STK staying in this fight. Mats could drop the EMP. There it is. Finds so many on the side of Cascade, and STK are going to use that to roll through. They take out 3. Cascade are just going to have to back up or die.
Must have forgotten about Mats there, just lurking around with the EMP. It's been so long, so you definitely got to be careful of that. They were grouped up so tightly knit, so when the EMP goes off, all their abilities are disabled, nothing they can do, and they still have 3 ults going into the next fight. Starting to look
what an aggressive contest coming out from Filthy Elf. He just dives in, brings his Mercy with him, barely buys any time, and now Cascade are gonna have to wait so much longer to contest this payload.
Definitely not the ideal contest. You don't really want to do something like that. If you're not going to be there as a full group, don't even bother with the push. Let them cap the point, and don't feed the ultimate charge, because honestly, that's exactly what just happened.
Yeah, more ult charge getting fed by Zetzel too. Another stagger coming out here. Seems to be happening quite a few times. We'll see if it'll happen this fight. They can't. It's not a fight that Cascade can afford to lose, but they just might have to, as the tactical visor comes down, finding Zetzel after he uses the EMP to pretty much no effect. Filthy Elf caught out of position. This is not looking good for Cascade. STK has so much time on the clock, and they're coming in here. They have to try and fight through the Nano Diva, but it gets slept, and it's only the Nano Diva on the point now. This is looking so bad for Cascade. They're just not able to make anything stick. They try and recontest, run in, but self-destruct gonna make it impossible for them to do so. There it is. STK capped the point with so much time in their bank.
I know I said I wanted to see a lot of swaps from Cascade, but that might have been too many swaps. When you swap the comp around that much, you get set so far back in the Ulticon game. For starters, Filthy Elf, she was on the Orisa, then swapped to the Winston, then swapped to the Reinhardt. I don't think she was even able to bring up the Primal Rage. Definitely not the Earth Shatter. So, you need to counter-strat a little better on maps like these, or just maps in general. So you don't get caught out the way they did. You don't fall behind in the ult economy like they did.
I needed to play around the enemy team's strats. Demigod was running the Pharah against a Soldier 76 for basically the entire map. A little bit of a rough matchup for the Pharah as that tactical visor comes out especially, and we saw that a few times, didn't we?
We did, and tactical visor notwithstanding, I thought Demigod on the Pharah was fine. Definitely got a lot of value. However, once the Soldier 76 did come out, towards the end of that push, it was a little too dangerous. Demigod had to play way more defensively, and because of that, a lot of the frontline damage for his team was gone. So yeah, that is what allowed STK to kind of just maul their way through point A. Or point 1, rather.
1A, Alpha,
First.
First, we know.
Yeah,
It's all
you
good.
get it. You get it.
I got you.
You got me. But what we really got here is a single DPS comp from STK. They're only running the Widowmaker, and they're in a DPS slot. They have Zapso on the Brig. Not exactly an uncommon pick, but the idea must be that they know that Filthy Elf is probably running a more anchor tank composition with the Reinhardt. Probably wants to stun them, wants to, you know, make his way more uncomfortable.
Well, it won't only be Filthy Elf uncomfortable, it'll be Demigod uncomfortable with a bullet lodged in his noggin. What an early pick coming out from Mats. You can see why he's the only one on DPS. He must be so good on this Widowmaker for them to have that much faith in him. And honestly, with an early pick like that, who can blame him?
Nobody can, and honestly, you'd be really calm and collected too if you had a shield completely covering you, so there's that.
We'll see if Cascade is so calm and collected. They've got to make it around this corner here. Reinhardt generally wins in the matchup against Orisa, but that Brigitte from Zapso is going to give him a little bit of hell. But it's going to be Ben giving him more hell over onto Demigod and onto Kairu. What damage coming out from this D.Va. STK, they know they have the man advantage now. They're going to push forward and force Cascade to back up here.
Good play so far from STK, really taking advantage of this, you know, tight area around this corner. It's exactly Brigitte's playground. Zapso is having a good old time. Has twice the ult charge, then his counterpart Kairu about to get the rally online too. So, you know, so far really solid defense here.
Solid defense, but what an odd offense. They just lost their Brigitte Cascade. They just lost them to an unfortunate, or it wasn't the Brigitte, I'm sorry, it was the Zarya. Now they're gonna lose their Sombra, however. It almost seems like Cascade are a little too timid here, and they're losing out on the ults. You can see why. They just can't get around this corner.
Definitely too timid. I mean, look, they're just kind of, you know, shuffling their way to the point, whereas STK is just trudging their way right through, saying, no, you won't pass. And honestly, look at the ult economy shows too. They're ahead, and this is getting really difficult here for Cascade. They've already lost 2 minutes on the clock here, and the cart hasn't even made it around the second corner.
Even if they make it around this corner and through the next 2 points, they gotta cap this with a decent amount of time and try and match STK's. It's gonna be the Nano Blade trying to make up that difference. Gets one, dives over trying to get two. Not quite able to find one as of yet, but there's a second pick. At Cascade, they're finally going to be able to make something stick, maybe. They're going to try and take out this D.Va on the point. It's what's stalling them out. Roadhog behind them as the self-destruct comes out from Ben. Actually manages to find Demigod. This fight might be over yet. STK, they're staying in this. They're going to back up a little bit and try and regroup here, though.
Smart of them to do that. They know when the fight is lost. They know when they need to regroup. They have enough time that they can actually just retake this point there. Although Lex is a little bit caught out here. Anti with low HP, it looks like he's gonna go down. This could be exactly what Cascade needs.
Presenter, their main tank is switched over onto a Pharah. What an odd strategy coming out, but it might work as long as you have Widowmaker popping off above there. Demigod's finally gonna go up and try and deal with him, but he gets taken out too. Oh, Matze on this Widowmaker is just absolutely crucial. He's popping off so much, they need to deal with him.
That actually ended up being a really good swap here. Now they're running the 2 off-tank composition. You know, it looks like it's offering so much, you know, frontline pressure that nobody can bother to deal with Matt. They can't. There's just so much coming at their face at all times, so there's really nothing they can do about it. Still, Cascade has a few ults going into this next fight. Really
Speaking of ults, the EMP comes out, sorry to interrupt you there, but there's a huge shatter to back it up. So many ults being thrown here from Cascade. They gotta make this work. They gotta make it stick, but they're only able to find one thus far, and they lose their Ana in the process. This is shaping up to be a bit of a mess here. They might be able to push forward. No one contesting the point here from STK as they find Ben. Matt's not giving up though. Keeps finding kills, but Cascade, they decide they're done with this point. They don't care if it's overtime. They're gonna cap A.
Oh, really had me sweating there for that last bit. Still, the EMP from Setzel ended up finding a lot of value, and particularly that last hack as well. Definitely props to him for such good play, and a huge stagger on the Master. So this could be the start of a pretty good push here for the side of Cascade, despite the fact that they've lost a lot of time. They're still pretty close to having a couple of hulks come online. Mats is going to swap over on to the Sombra here. Probably had enough of Setzel, wants to do some hacking of his own.
Looks like we're going to get a very interesting defensive positioning coming up from STK. They set up on this high ground. They're not able to contest the cart up there. They finally drop down and find 2 for it. Oh, it doesn't look like Cascade was prepared to handle this weird setup. They split up a little bit, and they're going to get pushed off this point.
Cascade might be having a little issues here with the comms. You know, it's as you say, they're kind of just... They're not really dealing with these engages properly. They come right into them. They just kind of scramble a little bit. Someone focuses you, someone focuses them, and it's really not working out for them. Luckily, they didn't use They didn't use any ults in this next fight. They have the Nano Blade. Hopefully, Demigod can just make it big.
Well, here it is, the Nano Blade coming out straight into the backline. He does get bioed, and he's looking a little low. He manages to find the Ana, but it's gonna be Ben's Diva Bomb finding 2 on the other side, despite a valiant effort from Demigod. Cascade pushed off this point regardless. They are not moving that payload.
Ben, unbelievable, what an animal. Showing Demigod, whatever you can do, I can do better. Demigod gets 1, Ben gets 2, and they're just STK is shaving so much time off the clock here. There's really less than 1 minute left. Cascade only has one good engage left here. They have some ult, filthy ult, looking at you with your shatter. Please, you gotta land this. Looks like Cascade is running up top now. They want to get a different kind of engage. Probably want to knock them off the high ground here. So far, it's working. Unfortunately, Cascade winning the Ana battle. Oh, 2 down from Cascade's backline. This is really looking bad for them. Still, that's with the EMP, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter. Grab comes out too, but what are they really going to do? Although the kills do start coming out in the favor of Cascade, still, we're going to see a counter EMP here come from Mats. And, oh, it doesn't matter. There's nothing they can do. Not enough point present, and STK is going to win this map. Cool. Valiant effort from Cascade, but unfortunately they just couldn't do it. They didn't have enough confidence going into there. Finally, it seems like they could only do so when the time was running out. That's when the big plays came out for them, but you need more than that if you're going to finish maps.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. At this point, it seemed like a battle, a war of attrition here. Cascade having problems getting through STK's wall. And I believe you're talking about composition through that. Cascade was running that Genji, Sombra, with the Ryan, the Bree, the Zarya, the Ana, pretty much the entire time. How do you think they could have improved that composition to try and break through STK's defense?
Probably some kind of... Maybe just switch to full dive, I think. The STK was running the Orisa pretty much the entire time. As, a lot of people know, dive is a good answer to that. The Orisa is so static, so immobile that there's really nothing they can do once the whole 6 of them dive onto them. Onto the Orisa, there is no healing around that can take care of that. So that probably would have been a better idea, especially if they wanted to keep the Genji, because Demigod was pretty good, but I just think he needed more frontline support because with the comp that Cascade was running, it was kind of a little bit more of him lone wolfing it.
And as for STK, after those 2 maps, especially on Rialto as well, but definitely considering Lijiang Tower, who do you think right now is the player to watch for STK?
Ooh, player to watch for STK. I'm gonna say Presenter, just because I really like his tank play, and I like the swap to DPS at the end there. It's really true what they said. A lot of them are DPS mains. They play it so well. So yeah, I would keep an eye on him.
And we're gonna throw it to a quick break real quick, but before I do that, we have one more map potentially for Cascade to bring this back, right? So it's do or die. What is one thing you think Cascade could do that could maybe turn the tides in STK and somehow give them an edge, some leverage to get back into the set?
I'm telling you, it's as funny and meme as it sounds. It's W mouse 1. They seem so passive. They seem so just afraid. They're like, oh hey, can I come onto this point? No, you walk in and you tell them, this is our point. We're taking it now. They need that attitude. I want to see that in how they play. I think that's what they need to do to turn this around.
Well, we'll find out. On the other side of this break, these teams have potentially one map, maybe more to go here to decide who's going to move on in the winners bracket of the Australian Open Division playoffs here in Season 3 2018. Don't go anywhere. More of Cascade versus STK is coming your way on the other side of this break.
to me, believe that I should have seen it coming. I wish we had another day. Looking back, I understand all the things that didn't go the way I planned. All these thoughts keep me awake. It's this feeling that I can't shake. But we kept running and running, though we were out of breath. Wish I could have known that we're broken by the weight that's on my chest. I need to know how we got here so I can stand my ground. I just want to make it right this time around. From time to time, I still think about the good and the bad, just to remind me it was real. It takes a lot to learn from tragedy and where we went wrong, but we can heal.
Welcome back, Overwatchers. Sorry for the delay, but we are getting into our third map of this first set of the night. Thank you for joining us. It is Broadcast.gg's coverage of Australian Open Division Season 3 2018 playoffs. I'm Rapture here with Beatdown, and we're going to continue the rest of this set. Beatdown, we have potentially one more map left. It's up to Cascade, who are now going to be in the red. They've switched sides, to bring this set all the way back. Do you think they can do it?
I think they can do it. They definitely have the chance. They have the hero pool. You know, they have the coordination. I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to say it till they do it. I want to see some aggression. I need to see, I need to see some intent when they play instead of this shuffling that they're doing right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, this is essentially right now the moment where you got to know what you're doing. You got to have your game plan. You got to have your blueprint out in front of you. Yep. Like I was saying before the break, this is really do or die, because you lose this, you drop into loser's bracket, and your chances of making contenders trials go down drastically at that point, obviously. So there's no more room. It's not like regular season where you can afford to give up a map here and there. This is it. It's a best of 5, and we're going to Temple of Anubis for our third map. And of course, it is our assault. So knowing what we've seen from control, and then going into escort, and then we seeing assault. Any expectations going into this map?
I think we're going to see probably the dive from both sides. I'm actually really expecting STK to run the Widow again. We saw Mats on the Widowmaker in a single DPS comp, like absolutely just unload onto Cascade. Like, it was insane. Even in comps where he didn't have much room to work, he would land all of his shots. I'm expecting to see that this one too, because at the very least for point A, Widowmaker is pretty strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Very common. Of course, teams using that defensive setup for a Widowmaker to hide behind an Orisa shield, get some shots, whereas the offense can utilize a Widowmaker to give them some leverage by hitting up that, the high ground afforded to the attacking team. I also think it could be a possibility for teams to run like Junkrat, characters like that kind of work with that small enclosed, geometry that Temple of Anubis affords. But it looks like we're going to be getting some pretty tanky compositions, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of Sombra this time too. Neither
would I, and I would kind of hope to see it. I think this is Sombra is what Cascade's really going to need going into this, because, especially Zapsol and the Brigida, that's somebody you want to shut down, or you want to be able to shut down somebody. You want to get that key hack on, remove some of their abilities, and collapse onto them. But most of all, they need to get Percenter off of this high ground, because once you dislodge the Orisa from this high ground, they can't get back up.
We'll see how quick Cascade can do that as they break out on offense in the red. They're going to go for a right side push here. That's going to clump the team together, and the defense sees that. They're going to keep and hold their footing and wait until the attack comes to them, and immediately there's already a focus on the point. Orisa jumps down, press enter, finds the D.Va inside, and now the defense is inside those corridors, and they have nowhere to run. The offense has complete control of the point, and the kills are going their way because Mats has a ton of room to work with. And now with the res coming through for Kazette onto Lex, it's a huge control here for the blue side of STK. The defense will be able to hold this entirely. And now the red side has to reset. Cascade will unfortunately have a stagger for a Paso on the D.Va, but now it's another attempt that they've lost about 55 seconds.
Oh, that is brutal. Still staggering them, but the thing is that mech got Kazette, so now they're down they're down their mercy. So this is actually Cascade's chance. They can move on to the point. Arista's off the high ground. You know, they don't have a lot of high ground presence to worry about. So they gotta go now.
And Filthy Elf has to be careful though, swinging around, not putting up too much barrier. There's the Diva Bomb from downtown, puts the shield up, but doesn't have any blocking for the rest of the team to stay alive, and Mats goes down from Wheel. Then Filthy Elf finds Presenter. There's the EMP, and there should be some cleanups coming off of that as everyone's pretty close together and snug on this right side. Kazet gets the res onto Press Enter, who immediately rejoins Zappo and Lex, and they're going to push alongside with Ben the rest of the offense back through the choke point, and now Beatdown. We're at 2 minutes and 25 seconds, and for Cascade, nothing to show for it.
Nothing at all. I mean, that first push was fine because Cascade managed to get Presenter off the high ground. That's definitely a good thing you want to get done. But still, you know, they have no real ults here. They have the Widow Sights, but how good is that as one ultimate in itself? Filthy Elf building up to the Shatter is going to have to be so big. They need to force them down once again, actually.
And I love this defensive positioning being taken by STK. Half the team on the right side behind the Orisa shield, half were on the left behind the defense matrix, and now they all combine onto the point. But there's a sound barrier that comes out from Wheel that'll definitely help bolster Cascade against this self-destruct, and Filthy Elf will be able to stay alive against that. Now Ben going in with us, another self-destruct inside. That's not going to catch him. And Graviton, oh, it gets blocked by a great shield, Earth Shatter that is, gets blocked by Press Center as they were caught by the Graviton. And STK finding the kills through a scrappy fight, but Cascade will not let go. Wheel will kill Press Enter's Bongo, but Lex finds a kill on the Kairu. At this point, it's pretty much the scraps being cleaned up here by STK, and Cascade again getting their Diva staggered. Pasto unable to get out of there without being knocked around a little bit.
Again, Cascade, you know, so much time out of the bank. Nothing to show for it here. Matter of fact, no ults to show for it either. We're going to see some swaps here, but it's a little late in the game here. Only 1 minute left, and now you have no ultimates because of a lot of these swaps. The Diva is staggered. You know, this is going to get difficult, and especially with how close they're going to be because they're playing this dive comp, they're very susceptible to yet another EMP from Lex.
Yeah, and Zetzel is so far behind on that EMP, but they're going to go in and go for a push on the left side. They have to. There's no choice. Cascade has to do this right now and get the point because there's less than a minute remaining here. And they've lost pretty much everything they have in the front line. And not only that, but the defense hasn't really burned anything. There's still an EMP waiting for the offense on this last one inevitable fight left here, Beatdown.
This is truly the worst case scenario here for Cascade. You know, at least in that last fight, they would have hoped to force out some ultimates, but unfortunately, they forced out nothing. 2 ults online for STK. About 15 seconds left. Cascade, it is do or die, but they have nothing here.
Yeah, and Lex and Ben have their ultimates ready to push right in. Kazet is about to get Valkyrie, being able to hold up the rest of the team, get some chain damage for some quick kills onto Cascade. There's the EMP, and they're going to snowball off of that. They get a quick D-Mech onto Paso, so already losing a defense matrix, and they've lost Kairu, another shield going down. There's very little barriers, nothing to keep this DPS off of their backs. STK just plowing through Cascade with the self-destruct for the overkill, overtime ticking away, and it's more than Cascade can chew. Anubis, they won't be seeing the second point here Beatdown as STK holding Cascade 2.A, and now they just need to get that 1 point, just a third of it that is, to move on to the next round of the playoffs.
Yeah, and that is such a dangerous position for Cascade to be in. It's shown that in this map, it just, you know, they're not doing so well so far. The coordination's a little bit off, and I think they're going to really struggle here to hold this 1 tick. This might actually be it for them.
Yeah, this is might be the swan song here for Cascade, at least for their winners bracket run, but we're not going to call it just yet, right? We have until we see that bird fly the coop a little bit. We're not going to just call it immediately. There's still time. Cascade can still bring this back. It is Overwatch. There's no way it's over until the game is called. And at this point now, we can see a hold from Cascade as we saw a hold from STK. But STK, they have some fire on them right now. They've kind of seen through Cascade, and they haven't answered almost every solution. Beatdown, does Cascade, maybe have something up their sleeve?
Well, like you said, it's definitely not over yet. They still have a chance here. As long as they can full hold, then yeah, they can do it. And so as for something up their sleeve, they have the Widow Fire composition here. It's not something they ran on the attack. I would have loved to see that, actually. But still, Demigod has proven to be quite the Fire player himself, just especially with his showing on Rialto. So, if he can go big, I think he could be, the ace that Cascade needs to keep this series alive.
Yeah, that would be absolutely crucial right now because, of course, you don't want to be going down to losers too early, unless you want to make that really climactic losers bracket run, which everyone loves. So, hey, maybe that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to up the entertainment value for us. And I absolutely appreciate that. And so far, it has nonetheless been a fun set to watch and call here. Beatdown, we're going to move on to potentially the last attempt. Map 3, it is a 2-0 lead for STK, and they're looking to close things off with a 3-0. Can Cascade hold on as we move on to the offensive attempt for STK in the blue? And they are going to break out with this chunky composition with the Sombra from Mats. And Zapso on the 76, interesting call here. Going to go for that long-range hit scan as the tanks move in aggressively on the top right side. And that 76 is actually right there with them, right behind the Reinhardt shield, while the Sombra is in a flank on the right side. And Zapso immediately taking care of Demigod, and now everyone is just crushing the defense. But Presenter is trying to crush the other Diva, gets the DMAC, but gets slept, taking a quick nap, but the rest of the team's picking up the slack. Mats and Zapso, Ben all combining for kills. That first third is going to be combined and completed. There it is, a 3-0 victory for STK, and they'll be moving on to the next round, while Cascade will have to look for another life down in the losers bracket.
Unfortunately, that's the problem there when you play the defensive Pharah on a point A only defense. You know, with the spawn advantage on the attacking team, they could easily make the swap if they needed to. Of course, in this case, it didn't even need to happen. Zapso was on the Soldier 76, proved himself to be very proficient in shutting down the Pharah, which means Demigod just couldn't do anything for his team.
Yeah, absolutely. Turned out to be a great showing for STK. And remember, we were looking at their team sheets before that set went off, and STK seemed they definitely put more into the games than they did their team sheet for sure, and it seems like it paid off. Any closing thoughts on that set?
Closing thoughts. I would say Cascade, keep your chin up. It's not over for you yet. This is double elimination. You still have a chance. I'm really hoping for that entertainment value you mentioned earlier. I would love to hear them just make it all the way to finals through the losers bracket. So just keep it going, review your VOD, and keep on the grind.
Yeah, absolutely. Cascade still has another chance, another means to prove themselves. Well, STK, a team potentially to watch throughout these playoffs. And before we go, though, I got to know, MVP from you, Beatdown, who did you pick?
Oh, that's so hard. I got to say Mats. You know, they relied on his Widowmaker so much there for STK, and man, he delivered. Popping off, no matter what the situation called for, he was just lighting up the kill feed.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly put on a show, as the rest of STK did. And that is the end of our show for now, but don't go anywhere for too long. In about an hour, we'll be getting into our next set. And in fact, we have 4 Australian Open Division sets going on tonight. So make sure you have your Twitch channels tuned to Broadcast.gg all night, no matter where you are in the world. It's late for me. It might not be late for you, but we have some great Australian Open Division Season 3 2018 playoffs coming for you throughout the night, throughout the weekend, along with North American and European. I believe it's actually North American Open Division for this weekend and European next weekend. So there's a ton more Open Division coming your way this weekend. I've been Rapture here with Beatdown. We also have Paulsable. Thank him for joining us for the set. Of course, Moosh on production and Pimp helping us out for coordinating. We'll be back soon with our second set of the night. So just hang around with us, and we'll see you up in about an hour.